16, the number of years since Bob Hanna set the all-time national career win total of 37. And Ricky Carmichael's attempt to tie that record with a win at Redbud. 6, the number of weeks since Mount Morris, the round that snapped Grant Langston's early dominance in the 125 class. A shoulder injury caused the KTM rider to forego racing at Bud's Creek. Hello everyone, this is Art Ekman-Aloma, David Bailey and Davey Coombs from Redbud Track and Trail in Buchanan, Michigan. It is round 6 of the AMA Chevy Trucks National Motocross Series. The 125s are led by this young man, Mr. Excitement himself, Travis Pastrana. It is a sunny but a bit chilly and a windy day here in Buchanan, Michigan. The real surprise to me, David Bailey, is number 111, Grant Langston, is able to run it all.
This won't be quite as gutsy a performance as it was in Southwick, but still he's sore. He can't afford to sit out another race. He's got to stay close to Travis.
Travis Pastrana coming into the race with a 36-point lead. Grant Langston, though, with that separated shoulder, unable to run at Bud's Creek, slipping back to third in the Suzuki point standings. The 125 class is not just for the young. 31-year-old Larry Ward is coming off a second place at Bud's Creek. He's looking like a contender, David.
And he's got a brand new racetrack to do it on. They've added so much sand out here, I can't believe it. It's like a Florida track now, one new section out there. I think the riders really appreciate having a fresh track to race on this season. And for more on that, let's have Davey take us around.
Come in each section here up on top of the hill. There's no sand this part of the track. Come off the little drop off. Now you can triple that, but I'll keep it down to double. Now you got to time this next double jump. Step up over, little lift on the bike. This is the tight part of the track. Real easy to stall here, as you can see. If it looks like everyone's going slow through this, because they are. You got to come to a virtual stop. You get right back on. This is where Bradshaw crashed all these years ago. Pants fell off. Photographer took a picture of him. Sneaked down through a rock at the guy. Guy probably deserted. Back into what's called Morocco's Leap. Centerpiece of the track. Want to stay on the corner. For the 250s and the 426s, didn't have too much trouble jumping it. I did right there. That way everyone knows who taught me how to ride this thing.
Referring to David Bailey's #1 sticker as we take a look now at the Suzuki starting grid. Travis Pastrana, the points leader. Mike Brown in his first full season after coming back from Europe. Larry Ward just looks hot. He is racing very, very well in that Moto XXX machine. Fonseca on that 4-stroke. Greg Schnell has showed promise, as had Nathan Ramsey on the Yamaha 4-stroke. But this track has a little bit of everything, doesn't it, David?
Oh, I just can't get over how much work they've put into it. And now that they've added so much sand, they have hard pack, they've got tight stuff, big fast sweepers right off the start. You got a big ski jump. Back when I raced here, it was pretty hard packed and a lot of rock. So I can't wait to see this race get underway.
And what is now LaRocca's Leap, a big uphill double. David Bailey was the first to clear that double, by golly. That's why Davey Coombs has that sticker on his bike. Just about set now for the first moto of the 125s. You see Langston, number 111. He decided against having surgery on that separated elbow, 3rd-degree separation, and he's back on the track right now. Brown getting ready to start. We're off and running, moto #1. Schnell gets the whole shot. Narita, Pastrana, Ward, Fonseca getting off the gate well. But Brown is back at about 15th or so.
You know what happened? A little plastic bag blew in front of his tire. It might have messed up his concentration at the gate.
Number 30, Greg Schnell, coming off that jump in first place. He's with MotorWorldRacing.com on that YZ250F. Narita on the outside, taking on Pastrana for second place. Narita moves into second on Pastrana.
You know, I wonder if Pastrana's getting a little tired of that. Narita's not riding the whole series. He's a Team Suzuki rider. Travis is trying to win this championship. He'd probably appreciate if Narita would just stay back there behind him.
Narita running here in the United States, and he goes down. Pastrana takes second easily. He'll be going back for the Japanese Nationals. That one's the real counter for him. So Pastrana now in second place as Schnell, number 30, starting to draw a little bit of lead.
Looking really good to this point, too, and I can't believe how far he flew off that big ski jump off the start. He landed almost at the bottom.
Larry Ward in third. He's had Yoshimura do his pipes and now engines for the first time, and he says it's a big difference.
Now Travis finds himself sandwiched between two of these YZ250F 4-strokes that have a little bit more torque than his bike. He's been having a hard time trying to match the power of everybody else in the class, but he's making up for it with desire and talent. He's a little bit heavier, but so is Larry Ward. Just got a little bit more power under him, that's all.
A great break for Schnell. This is his best start on the season. He's really quite a veteran in the 125 wars.
At Mount Morris, watching the race, I look over and he's standing there. I wondered, what the heck, why aren't you out there? He had a tough time trying to qualify for that event, and look at him now leading the race, and he's not blocking Pastrana to hold him off. He's riding a great race. Pastrana hasn't even been able to really put any pressure on him.
An outstanding start to our first 125 moto here at Redbud. Pastrana trying to move within striking distance of Greg Schnell as the two, you can see, pulling a slight lead on Larry Ward in third.
You know what I really like about the sand, besides the fact the track will change a little bit, get rougher, a little bit rougher going into the corners with all the braking bumps. The fact that when they put a little water down on the racetrack, usually you see the guys getting splashed with mud. It just soaks right into the sand, makes perfect conditions.
A green flag after the first lap. We'll be back with more 125 action from Redbud in a moment. Welcome back to Redbud. 125 action. First moto as Mike Brown's mechanic puts out the board. He's trying to make his way up through the field after a mid-pack start. Let's check in with Davey for the Kawasaki bike setup.
The track here at Redbud is fast and sandy, so for this week's Kawasaki bike setup, we thought we'd talk to Steve Henderson, Mike Brown's mechanic. Steve, what do you have going?
We have pretty much the same setup, David, as we did for Southwick. With our Bridgestone tyres, we have like a paddle effect tyre on the rear there. That's pretty much it.
Anything you're doing special for the sand?
All I've done is just some little things, really, just to keep the sand out, like this bit of foam in the throttle here, just to keep the sand out of the throttle, you know, when we get roosted from other riders. That's pretty much that as well.
Well, it worked at Southwick and it worked at Budds Creek, so we'll see how this week's Kawasaki bike setup works at Redbud.
The battle is on here in our first moto, the 125s. Travis Pastrana starting to put heat on Greg Schnell. Pastrana with a great leap off that jump.
Trying to set him up for something, but it's hard to out horsepower that 254 stroke.
Pastrana to the inside. Clean pass, Pastrana, our new leader. And Ward is right behind Schnell.
Ward getting a face full of dirt, decides to drift over the berm, try to set himself up better for that section. But Travis pulls a tearaway there. Now he's got clean vision, and he should be able to pull away. He was all over Schnell, really putting the pressure on him, and I think Schnell could feel that. That's why he ended up a little bit too wide there.
As Ward puts the heat on for second place, let's take another look.
I see Travis had come up the straightaway so fast, and he was able to do it on the inside. Schnell knew it. He looked over. Well, you can have it. Now the best thing you can do is to try to stay with Travis and learn from him a little bit, because Travis's lines out here on this racetrack are extraordinary. His ability to find the best line and make those changes lap after lap. Not everybody can do that.
Ward would like to make the move right now before Pastrana gets a bigger lead.
No, I didn't think he was going to check out this quick, but he is doing it, and Ward can sense it. He needs to get by.
Here comes Larry Ward. Number 30 is Schnell, 10 is Larry Ward. Similar machines, and Ward now takes the outside. Larry Ward moves into second place.
Well, it's obvious Larry Ward is still riding with the confidence that he had at Budds Creek. The guy's on fire right now, and he does seem to have that bike dialed in. He's got a little bit of a power advantage on Travis, and that won't matter unless he can take advantage of it. He knows he has to stay close. Now when Schnell let Travis get by, he just wasn't taking the inside line. Here he's trying to take the inside line, the best line. Take the best line and force the guy to do something heroic. Larry Ward does around the outside, puts him to the inside in the next corner. So obviously Larry and Travis got a little bit better pace now than Schnell, and Schnell's got problems coming up from behind. He can't even focus ahead of him anymore because he's got pressure from Fonseca.
You can't argue with Larry Ward's experience. He's 31 years old. He's looking to get back for a full season in 2002. He's picked up several UST top privateer awards. being with the Moto XXX, not a full factory team. But Ward is putting on a good show right now.
This is a bummer for Schnell. You see how clean he is. He gets passed again by Fonseca, so everyone's riding right through him, and it's too bad that he couldn't find his rhythm a little earlier. He got the whole shot, and he's not taking advantage of it.
Pastrana, Ward, Fonseca, Schnell, and Grant Langston now getting into the play. Number 111. This is a phenomenal story.
It is, and when Langston rode Southwick, nobody could believe it. Here, I don't think he's in as much pain, but it's still got to be pretty tough for him. And you can see the momentum he has. Look at that, right past Schnell, no problem. Schnell looked over, could hear him coming. And the thing about Langston, if he sits out one more round like he did last week, forget about the title. Travis would be gone, so he has to tough this one out to stay in contact.
And as we've seen in the past, anything can happen to Travis Pastrana on a track.
He really hasn't had his share of problems yet. I mean, he's gotten some bad starts and had to come through the pack, but nothing major. Langston had to sit out a race and still riding with an injury. And you know what, Art? That's what it takes to win a championship. Several of the titles I won with injuries. You've got to ride no matter what.
I like his attitude.
He's a good kid. You know, I like what he has to say on camera. I like the way he rides. And maybe he shot himself in the foot a little bit going to Southwick, talking about, oh, I'll win that race. It didn't work. Whoa.
Slips out.
That's a deep sand berm right there, and it's tricky coming down that off camber. You know, Davey already pointed out how tough that was going to be for people. They almost come to a stop. He, in fact, did come to a stop. Lost the front end.
So Langston has his work cut out for him now to once again take on Schnell.
See Langston, he knows Brown's back there and he cuts off the line. See these braking bumps right here? Watch what happens to Langston. He goes through all those and it just wrecks his rhythm. And I don't think he has the strength in his shoulder to really tough that one out. So he just drops the bike, only loses one position, he's right back in it.
Back to the live action coming off the ski jump. Schnell, Langston, Brown, a good tight group right here. Brown fishtailing, Brown goes down, hits the deck.
Well, that's what I like about the sand here. It's making the track rougher. Those braking bumps are getting worse and worse. Brown was just a little too aggressive through there. Watch this. See, he's leaned into the corner a little bit, and that back wheel skids off one. As soon as it hits the next one, it rebounds the other way. He didn't have a chance to save that. I don't care how strong you are. But a quick recovery. Brown is so strong and tough, man. He's already got the Kickstarter out before he even picks the bike up. He's thinking ahead.
But Brown dropping down in the standings now. Pastrana continues to lead. Larry Ward in second place. Let's check in with Davey Coombs in the mechanics area.
Well, Doug, what has gotten into your rider the last couple weeks? Larry's absolutely flying.
He likes this track a lot, and the bike's working great for him. He's totally pleased with that. And he's just out to have fun. He's not feeling any pressure. He's out to get as many points as he can and just out racing.
You think he can get after Pastrana today?
He's right on Pastrana. In the second practice today, he passed Pastrana and the little Japanese rider, and now he's out there right on Pastrana's back. So I think it's going to get him before too long.
Two very similar machines having a great back and forth battle with Schnell and Fonseca. Fonseca with a great lead, number 25.
Well, I think you can see the intensity in Schnell now. He came into that corner and almost went down just to try to get by Fonseca. So one or two things have happened here. Fonseca had a pretty good lead on him early on. He's either pumped up or Schnell has really picked up the pace. I think you can see in that corner back there. He's real serious about getting by now.
Let's check in now with Davey Combs.
Kenny, we're watching the battle for third between Ernesto and Greg Schnell. You guys have been in this position before this year. Unfortunately, the bikes broke a couple times.
Yeah, we've had some bad luck this year with some DNFs, but yeah, he's riding good right now. Him and Greg are going pretty good. It looks like it's going to be a battle right to the end.
Fonseca becoming the first rider in Supercross history to capture both the East and West 125 Supercross titles. He grew up on the small tracks of Costa Rica, though, and has had big adjustments coming here in the indoors. Another pass. Schnell getting back on Fonseca. Back and forth we go.
This is all out of the view of the mechanics. So they don't have a lot of time to figure out what's going on and get something on the pit board, a strategy for their riders. Fonseca just went a little wide there. I'm surprised he went to the outside when he had Schnell that close. I think, you know, they look up the track and see how far ahead it is of the next guys. I can't understand what's going through Fonseca's mind. He should go right to that berm. Schnell dives right in there. Like, hey, can you gift wrap that for me? Yeah, that couldn't have been a better gift.
It's obvious that Greg Schnell is trying to make an impression here in the midway point of our National Motocross Series, because he had such a disappointing time in the Supercross Series, starting the season with an injury and just never got on track.
These guys are pushing each other. I don't think they're going to catch the leaders. Travis and Larry Ward have checked out. If they can keep pushing themselves like this, maybe they can hold off the battle from behind. Brown is out of the picture now. Maybe they can hold Langston off. They're really just thinking about each other right now.
Well, they're making a great battle of it for the fans, that's for sure. As Brown now is experiencing more troubles. Let's check in with Davey Coombs in the mechanics area. Davey?
You can see Steve Henderson, Mike Brown's mechanic, with Mitch Payton. What they're trying to figure out is what advice to give Mike Brown right now, because, guys, he has a flat rear tire. Right now it's all about points for Brown in the championship, but after 2 good races, he finally gets a stroke of bad luck here at Redbud. Brown has a flat rear tire in the first moto.
Well, I believe the decision is, you see all the wheels sitting in the back of that mule that Mitch Payton was riding around in. If he stops and gets a new rear wheel, he can go faster the rest of the race. He'll lose more time changing it. This happened to me back in the 500 National Championship days. I had a flat. Honda decided to pull me in. I got 9th. I could have gotten a 3rd with the flat. He's trying to decide what's the best move here to still get points.
If it were a front wheel, it'd be a totally different story.
Oh, you have no chance. Brandis got a flat at Budds Creek, pulled off. We knew he couldn't finish in the top 20.
Let's check in with Davey now, who's with our leader's mechanic, Lee McCullough.
Lee, you guys getting a lot of pressure from Larry Ward, but you got to be happy about the whole moto. Mike Brown with a flat tire, Langston not doing so well.
Well, Langston actually is riding not bad for being injured still, and Brownie, so unfortunately, he had some bad luck there, and I don't look for that for anybody, but Travis is riding good. Larry Ward's keeping him honest on that 250.
Notice he didn't qualify. It was a 250 4-stroke.
No, maybe they're just not happy to have to compete against that bike. Now, Travis, he won't complain. See, he's looking over his shoulder and shaking his head. Why is that guy still that close to me? He's 31 years old. Come on. And Lee used to be Larry Ward's mechanic, so
That's
maybe
right.
There's a little competition there.
Pastrana looking fairly smooth under pressure, though. He's coming off his poorest overall of the season, a 4th place at Budds Creek. How many riders had hoped that a 4th would be their worst on the season? Pastrana continues to lead, but Larry Ward's giving him some heat. We'll be right back with more 125 action. Travis Pastrana leading our first moto of 125 action, but right behind him is number 10, Larry Ward. Ward's first 125 win was back in 1989 at Southwick. His last one was in 92. So Larry's a little hungry right now. Also looking for a job for next year. He's right on the rear end of Pastrana. We've got a 1-2 battle now. Ward, a great leaping jump. Bar to bar they go. Travis Pastrana with the edge on the inside. Larry's giving it his all now. Oh, and Larry looked like he ticked the back wheel of Pastrana. Can he keep that 4-stroke running? They have a huge lead. What a break for Larry Ward.
Well, you know, he can't be disappointed in the way this moto turned out. He was all over Pastrana. Pastrana, the new sensation, the kid that is destined to be great, win lots of championships. Ward, everyone thought he was pretty much just going to stay home, and here he is battling with this kid for the win, giving it all he had. He was just on the outside. Nobody's fault there. Travis took the best line. Ward was trying to make something happen on the outside, and yeah, you're right, he had a huge lead over 3rd. He could afford to take his time and make sure he held that clutch in, because that left side of the handlebars is buried in the berm.
That was a key, keeping that clutch in and keeping that 4-stroke running so he can hold on to 2nd place. It is now a breeze on the final lap for Travis Pastrana.
Well, he must be pretty relieved right now. That was close.
The heel clicker to excite the fans. Travis Pastrana is looking for his 4th moto win of the year out of 11 tries. And he just adds more points to that lead in the championship battle. The checkers for Pastrana. He did well under pressure.
Yeah, he earned that one. He had to fight the whole way, and luckily it cooled off just a little bit. It's not as tough. But look at this, Travis going down the inside. Larry trying to make something happen. I think he thought he could beat him there. I'm not sure if he hit Travis's back tire or just got into the berm a little too hot, but you can see the handlebars were buried there, and he did a good job to keep it running and preserve 2nd.
I got to hand it to Larry Ward. He was aggressive. He wanted it. Greg Schnell ending up in 3rd. Fonseca and Langston rounding out the top 5. Davies with our winner.
Travis, what a great moto. What about that charge by Larry Ward at the end?
Man, I was in practice and Larry flew by me. I'm like, oh no, you know, what am I doing? But Larry is on the pipe today, just really flying. And we were doing a lot of testing with Suzuki during the week, and it really paid off. I got out to a great start, and you know, I think that's my biggest weak point right now. And if I can get out there, it should be good. I know Brown was stuck in the pack, and you know, Langston's still recovering, but it feels good to get out front and not have to work my way from 30th. So Larry was on the gas, and it was a good race.
You know, Mike Brown, the closest guy in the point stands, he actually didn't even finish in the points by our calculations, flat tire.
Oh man, that's really it's too bad for him. It's good for me, I guess, but I seem to ride better when there's a big points chase. So I realized last weekend if I didn't pick it up, Brown was going to be there at the end, and you know, I think hopefully I can get it back going and establish another big points lead.
Looks like the hard work's paying off already.
Hey, thanks a lot, Davey. I just really like to thank Suzuki because, you know, we've been struggling a little bit at the beginning of the season, but I feel like right now they're put so much effort into this, and I think I have the fastest bike on the track.
The tough part for Brown, 23rd place, no points. But for number 10, Larry Ward, he came in 5th place in points. He's making a big play for 4th. Let's go back to Davey.
Well, Larry, we were impressed with your last ride at Budds Creek, but now we are real impressed. What an amazing charge.
Well, thank you. You know, Moto Triple X and Yoshimura and that YZF 250 are a good combination for me. You know, about 4 months ago, like I said, I was sitting on the couch watching Travis win Supercrosses, and I gave it all I had. I really wanted to beat him bad, but he's a great rider. He's got a #1 on his bike for a reason, and I was just honored to race that close with him.
Tell us what happened on the last lap. It sounded like you were really making a charge, but it was down over the hill. I couldn't see it.
He missed a gear actually in those tight S turns, and I got right behind him, and it was a perfect place for me because I was a little faster than him up that sandy hill, and I got by him, but he was on the inside still, and neither one of us shut off all the way around the hill and down. And when he cut over, I was just too hot. I couldn't get stopped, and I hit his rear wheel and flipped off down the hill, and I was just so thankful that my bike stayed running. If I would have ridden that hard to get a 4th or 5th, I would have been really disappointed. But the second's as good as the first in the first moto. If I can, you know, my Yamaha will give me another good start, and I'll ride hard and hopefully come away with overall.
It's an excellent ride, Larry, and I hope the factories were watching.
Well, I'm a little old for the factories to watch, but it sure feels good just to race that good.
After some tremendous racing in the opener, can the 250s top what we've just seen? It's Ricky Carmichael, Mike LaRocco and crew coming up next. Welcome back to Redbud Track and Trail, Buchanan, Michigan. Art Ekman, David Bailey. The 250 motocross season started off with some big concerns for Ricky Carmichael after taking the 250 Supercross title. Maybe a little letdown of sorts because in the first moto of the first 3 races, he had problems scoring big. But a 1-1 sweep at Southwick seemed to turn this motocross season around. And last week's win here at Budds Creek meant he won 2 in a row, 36 career AMA National Motocross victories. One shy of the all-time record set by Bob Hanna.
You see that aggressive move right there? That's what Hanna was known for. I've compared Ricky to Bob Hanna in his style, his aggressiveness. And when Hanna set the record at 37 back in the late 70s, early 80s, we thought no one's going to touch that. Ricky's only 21 years old, and he can tie it today and pass it.
Here's the top 5 career list with Bob Hanna on top with 37, Carmichael and Ward tied at 36, Glover with 35, and Rick Johnson with 33. A new development. Let's go to the gate and Davey.
Well, guys, David Villeman is here at the starting gate, but his Yamaha is not. Out on the parade lap, it appeared that something was wrong with the gearing. They ran it back to the Yamaha truck. David went over and spoke to one of the AMA officials. Hopefully they'll give him enough time. Now remember, there is no longer that 2-minute rule where you get 2 minutes to work on your bike as soon as you get to the starting gate. Instead, the AMA's Duke Finch tends to use a little bit of discretion depending on what the situation is, if the bike can be fixed or not. You'll probably see him get several minutes, but right now, they don't even know what it is.
Thank goodness David had a sighting lap to find out the problem as we take a look at the Suzuki starting grid. Carmichael, Kevin Windham, Sebastian Tortelli, Tim Ferry on the 4-stroke for Yamaha. Amsoil Honda, Mike LaRocco. Villeman, we hope, will be at that starting gate. John Dowd and Stefan Roncada. Roncada's been riding better lately. Ryan Hughes on the 4-stroke Honda. The privateer Kyle Lewis. Ezra Lusk trying to get back to top form with Honda. And the rest of the riders.
You know what I'm really excited about here, Art, is the fact that both Windham and Tortelli feel like they've got something for Carmichael coming here. Ryan Hughes has spent all this time off at Jeff Stanton's house. Lusk has got a Tyrannosaurus Rex on the side of his bike. There's a lot of competition for Carmichael this weekend.
And Tortelli has run extremely well here in the past. He won the event, the overall last year.
And don't count out Ron Cotta. He won this event on the 125 last year.
Carmichael, after 2 consecutive wins, has a 13-point advantage in the points race. Wyndham and Tortelli and Ferry, along with Larocco, still not out of it, though. Will Villeman make it, Davey?
David Villeman's mechanic Craig Monty gets the number 934 bike to the start. They held it up for just a few moments, but Villeman will be able to start the first moto. No word on what happened to the shifter.
It's got to create a little anxiety there, David.
It does, but they haven't put the 30-second card up yet, and now he can relax a little bit. There's Larocco. While I was going through my list of guys that I feel are really motivated for today's race, I left him out. This is what he considers his hometown national, and he is going to try everything he can do to knock Carmichael off that #1 spot.
30-second board is up. When it goes sideways, 5 to 10 seconds, the gate will drop, and we'll be underway with our first 250 moto of the afternoon. And of course, it's very important. Ricky Carmichael's on a roll. Can he keep it going? We're off and running at Redbud. Look at the start by 16 on the KTM 520. John Dowd gets the whole shot. Carmichael, Wyndham right there. But it's John Dowd, the veteran, out in front. Carmichael moving into second place. So Ricky's in good position as they come down the ski jump. Carmichael, immediate pressure. Dowd comes up short, and Ricky goes into first place.
Good saves by both Ricky and Dowd to stay 1-2. Ricky almost went off the racetrack, and I am amazed at the kind of start that Carmichael and Wyndham are getting against these 4-strokes. There you see Dowd, right, Ryan Hughes right there, 120. Those guys have more power.
Dowd going wide on the off-camber. Wyndham almost got that inside break that he needed. Carmichael off the jump first. And a big battle now going on for second place. Kevin Wyndham has passed John Dowd. Dowd with Ryan Hughes and Tortelli right behind him.
Look at this sequence. Watch Dowd. He's still leaned over on that hard-packed slick stuff. His rear wheel's going to slide to the right. Looks like Carmichael's got a good straight line. See Dowd's problems. They're obvious. But look at Ricky. He had to really get on the brakes and dodge back around that big tire there to stay on the racetrack.
Good thing Wyndham wasn't any closer to the action.
He almost got caught up in it. You know, Wyndham won the last moto of this series at Budds Creek. Carmichael was the fastest guy on the track, and here they are 1-2 to fight it out.
Oh, this should be a good one on our first moto of 250 action from Redbud. Carmichael going through that sandy area.
I don't know if he could have gone through that corner any faster, and while he was in the middle of it, he's looking over his shoulder to size everyone up. I don't know that it even matters if he keeps riding like this. Watch this lead.
They call it Larocco's lead. This is Mike Larocco's home track, very close to South Bend, Indiana. That must be a great honor to have something like that named after you.
Yeah, I think it's pretty cool, especially a jump that size, because that's never going to leave this track. That's just part of the layout forever.
One of the most famous landmarks in American motocross history, that's for sure. Ricky Carmichael finishing the first lap in front of Kevin Wyndham, and Tortelli is starting to blister the course. Let's take a look at the top 10. It's Carmichael, Wyndham, and Tortelli, the top 3, with Hughes knocking on the door. Back in Buchanan, Michigan, Ricky Carmichael's still our leader, but he's starting to pull a pretty good size lead now on Kevin Wyndham, number 14. The battle looks like it's going to be Tortelli in third versus Wyndham.
I love that jump. You sit there and watch that all day. These guys are flying so far.
You just loved it because you made it.
No, it was just a double when I did. We made a left right at the top, where they added that third jump, stretched it out, and the fans love that section. And Tortelli, he won this race last year, likes this track. I think Tortelli does great in the sand. It's a lot sandier than it's been. And it seems to be suiting him right now. I don't think he cares about Kevin right now. Although Kevin's riding well, he seems to be just a touch off. Kind of like the first moto at Budds Creek, the last race. Tortelli's closing in. Carmichael's getting away, but I don't think Carmichael's off the hook because Tortelli is running the same pace.
Hughes in 4th. And Roncada moving up to 5th as we take a look at the top 30 in the field summary.
Larocco back to 10th.
Boy, that's unlike Mike Larocco this year. Whoa, hang on, Tortelli. Kevin Windham, a chance to go bar to bar now with Tortelli. This is going to be a good battle.
Well, it looked like this is a second chance for Kevin Windham right now. Tortelli seemed to be faster, got around, made the little mistake. Kevin is back in this fight.
Tortelli with 4 podiums on the year takes the inside. Back and forth we go with Tortelli now in 2nd place.
Well, if these guys keep fighting the way they are, if they slow each other down a touch, that's going to be good news for Carmichael. He'll just check out and just run their pace, and they won't be able to catch him. Tortelli doing a little bit more of a nosedive there, and I think he meant to. Starting to stretch it out a little bit, but still no sight of Carmichael. That just ruins their hopes. First couple laps of the race, come around a big sweeper like that, and Carmichael's that far ahead. Look at him. He's gone. And Tortelli is really putting time on Windham now, so maybe we're going to see a race for the top spot. Tortelli can keep this pace. Now watch this. Gets on the gas a little bit right here. Same thing happened to Dowd in that start. And Kevin was close enough to take advantage. I thought Tortelli was going to get him back here. He had a good berm, which would have put him on the inside of the next corner. He couldn't do it. But look how fast Windham comes down to this off camber. Can't hold the inside. I can't believe that Tortelli was able to, and he did it for the pass.
In 4th is Ryan Hughes, number 120. He got some good starts at the beginning of the year, but had trouble on this new machine. You know, when you look back, you're reminded that this is Ryan's first season on a brand new bike.
Also, he didn't ride the Supercross season, and Ryan is real aggressive. He put a lot of pressure on himself to just surprise everyone at Glen Helen. He pumped up a little bit, then he got a little excited at Hangtown, went down a couple of times, and he's had opportunities. It's just that he was a little bit over anxious. Now he's starting to settle down. I know hanging out with Stanton this week, he's got to have his head in the right place. He's definitely got the bike sorted out, but he's got his hands full with Roncada. I talked about him winning the 125 last year. He likes this track too, just like Tortelli.
Hughes spending the last couple of weeks at the Jeff Stanton boot camp, some people call it.
I talked to Ryan. I said, hey, are you keeping up with Jeff? And it took him a moment to answer that because he knew what I meant. You know, Jeff is just as strong as these guys and still just about as fast.
Roncada making the move on Hughes. Hughes has got his fistful right now as Roncada, who loves this track as well, has the advantage on Hughes.
Wow, Hughes really pushed Roncada to get into that corner hot, and he was still able to clear that double. That's impressive.
I don't know what it is about Kawasaki's in this track, but only 3 riders have won 125 and 250 classes here, and they were all Kawasaki's. Ricky Carmichael, Jeff Emig, and Mike Kudrowski. And then Jeff Ward won all 3, 125, 250, and 500s on a Kawasaki. We'll be back. Back to the action now in the first moto of the 250s from Red Bud Track and Trail, Buchanan, Michigan. Here's Ryan Hughes. Ricky Carmichael, incidentally, still out in front. But Ryan Hughes is battling now in 5th position.
Ryan can feel the pressure now from Ferry back there. He's opening up the gap in certain places on the track, and then Ferry closes it up in others. And I thought when Ferry caught him, that was going to be it. He would be able to get around, but so far, Ryan's been able to hold him off.
Hang on to your hats. There's Ricky Carmichael, but look who's right behind him, Sebastian Tortelli. And Tortelli might be the fastest bike on the track right now.
And Carmichael can feel it too. You see him go into that corner, hit a big brake and bump, and he got on the gas a little early, did a little kind of a hiccup coming out of the corner. Little mistakes that usually don't cost him time, but it's proof for Tortelli back there that can see all that he's on his mind a little bit. And once you get on his mind, then you're in the driver's seat a little.
Carmichael's arms looking just like pistons. Oh, he lost control for a moment. Here comes number 13. That's Tortelli. 1 foot on the peg for Carmichael, and Tortelli went by him.
Yeah, he's definitely worrying Ricky. Some mistakes that he hasn't been making this year when he's had pressure like that. He's made mistakes all on his own. He hasn't needed anyone to do it, but this time Tortelli forced him into that.
Shane Drew, Tortelli's mechanic, looking on, and the crowd loves it. They love this competition.
A little adjustment on the clutch right there. just to let Ricky know, well, I wasn't working all that good, but now I got it dialed in. Pulling away. Now, a little mistake there. Allows Ricky back up in there, but a good recovery. Now watch this. Ricky should have been able to plan a little bit better and getting around the left rider right there and clear that double. Probably maybe a little on his mind right there, and he messes up the next corner too. Now watch, he's gonna look over his right shoulder. Wrong side. Here comes Tortelli up the left, pretty sneaky.
Tortelli, the third leader in our race now, and Tortelli's starting to make a little bobble here. This track is difficult.
It is, and the thing is about it is that the braking bumps, see all that dancing around they do before they get to the berm, it's hard to get set in the berm. So a couple of times Tortelli's almost gone over it. Some good saves though. He's still got a good cushion over Ricky.
Let's go down to the mechanics area, Davey.
Well, Shane, you were right. He did get him back.
Yeah, Ricky made a big mistake over here, and it helped us out a lot, but I think there's still 3.5 laps to go, so it ain't over.
What's the strategy? Just sprint?
Just go, go, go. Same pace he's been doing the whole moto.
So Tortelli, the two-time GP champ, trying to make a mark here in America. He's known for fast starts in the motocross season. All 3 seasons, he's participated in the 250s here. He's led the points early in the year. He took it all the way to Unadilla a couple of years ago.
Really taking it to Carmichael here. I'm pretty impressed that Carmichael's hanging on this close. As soon as Tortelli got around him, he pulled away quick. Carmichael closed it a little bit, so he's still got a shot at the win.
We've got lap traffic in front of the leader. Welcome back to our 250 action. We've got a Honda battle going on, a 4-stroke in front of a 2-stroke. Ryan Hughes trying to hold off the charging Mike LaRocco for 5th place. Here comes LaRocco, and the Rocket gets by him.
Well, what helped LaRocco do that is he went to the outside, he saw the flag waving and took advantage of Rhino, just a little bit undecided. That section, every lap, Rhino's hitting that one bump right out of the corner and it ruins his rhythm down the rest of the straightaway. LaRocco capitalized on it.
Tortelli leading on the final lap. Sebastian Tortelli looking for his 3rd moto win of the season. You have to go back to the first 2 races of the year in the first moto before you find moto wins for this young Frenchman.
He is really on right now. Everywhere, he's got great momentum. He's been able to jump that double where he got sideways earlier. Ricky hasn't. A couple other spots on the track where he's got more momentum, and Ricky is just flat out getting beat right now. That's got to really upset him.
Looks like Tortelli right now has got it in the bag. Got a nice little cushion on Ricky Carmichael.
Well, I'm sure Ricky's trying to be positive right here and just go, well, okay. You know, if I can't beat the guy right now, if I can win the 2nd moto, we'll tie in points, I'll get the overall, I'll get the last lap.
Here comes Tortelli down the hill, weeding his way through some slower traffic. But he can afford it. He's got a good lead.
Only about a half a lap to go, and you know, he put out a lot of energy. He worked hard for this. But on a cooler day, the bikes run a little bit better, and so does your body. And the wind, it's been hot here lately, but it really cooled off today, so I'm sure he'll have plenty of energy left. He's in as good a shape as Carmichael is to begin with.
This performance is encouraging to Cliff White and Team Honda, that's for sure. Tortelli had a 1-3 in the 2 motos at Hangtown for that win.
Look how fast he goes through it. See, he gets the front wheel over that berm a little bit, but see, he cuts out of that berm early. Well, he just made a liar out of me right there. I thought that was going to set up his rhythm down that straightaway. He's not pushing quite as hard, but he's really able to steer into the best lines.
Looks back to check out Carmichael.
He only goes for the double right there. That's surprising.
Surprised the cameraman, too.
Yeah, Carmichael's close. He can't afford to be cruising. And he is cruising. Something's weird. Something's going wrong.
Carmichael just blasts right by him. Something's wrong with the bike. Tortelli trying to restart the bike now. Oh, just a few corners away from the checkered flag, Ricky Carmichael picks off the moto. Incredible. It looked like Tortelli had it in the bag. Something went wrong with the bike. Tortelli has got it going again, but slowly. And it sputters again.
Oh, the finish line is 50 feet away. There goes Wyndham, so now it drops him to third. That's how big of a lead they had.
And he's going to try to push it across the finish line. I don't know if he can get up that big finish line jump. The crowd is trying to encourage him. Oh, this takes so much strength, David.
Yeah, he's cussing the sand now. That was what was helping him ride so well here, and now it's going to be really hard for him to get. If he's having that much trouble getting the bike up that little rise there, I don't see any way he can get up over that jump.
So he's going to try to restart it. That's not going to happen, it doesn't look like now. Oh, the high point of frustration right now for Sebastian Tortelli.
Now watch Carmichael right here as he goes through the air. Turns back and looks like, appreciate it. Too bad for you.
Tortelli trying to get up that final hill. And his mechanic, Shane Drew, is not allowed to help him. This takes me back to Delmont when Ryan Hughes, battling for the 125 championship, lost a chain in the turn right before the finish line jump, or a hill that he had to go up.
I think Shane may be able to make some suggestions.
Trying to get it started by going back downhill.
You know, what's happened at this point, though, is whatever they've lapped up to is probably what he's going to get. By the time even if he could push it from here, there's no way. He's already dropped back down into what he's lapped up to. That's going to be his finish.
Oh, and all that energy with another moto coming up. It's tough, this motocross game. Welcome back to Redbud, where Ricky Carmichael has taken control of the points championship. They say it's not over till the fat lady sings. Well, she was warming up when this world fell apart for Sebastian Tortelli. Something wrong with the machine. He was leading all the way into that final lap, just a few turns away from the checkered flag.
I'll tell you what, Ricky is a fighter. You know, he means business out there. You can see the intensity on his face every weekend, but he does not like to win like this. He looks a little dazed and confused right now.
Well, he'll take it. Kevin Wyndham in second. Ron Cotta, an impressive third. I know Ricky's got some interesting things to say. Let's go to Davey.
Ricky, that was a pretty dramatic ending of the first moto.
Yeah, it was. That's a shame, Davey. Sebastian was riding really good. I mean, he caught up to me and passed me, and I didn't have too much for him, and it's a shame his bike gave out on him there at the last lap, you know. I don't like to win that way at all, and my hat's off to him. He had that one, and I'll just have to take it.
Well, what you also have picked up is 25 points in the championship chase. It's not only going to hurt him today at Redbud, it's going to hurt him for the rest of the summer.
Yeah, you know, it does hurt definitely to not finish a moto, and you know, anything can happen to anybody, and I just need to do my part to be consistent. I worked really hard the off week because I knew he was going to be fast here, and I still didn't have nothing for him, and it kind of disappoints me. You know, I don't know where I can make up any time. I felt like I was riding hard. I think I got messed up with a couple of lappers there in the back section. I don't know if anyone could see it, but you know, that's the way it goes, and you know, it's just a shame that happened.
Coming off a moto win in the last week's action, number 14, Kevin Wyndham, takes a second place in the opener here today. Let's go back to Davey.
Well, Kevin, that was a pretty crazy end of the moto, but you come out in second.
Yeah, you know, I felt good in the beginning part. I don't know, I got some work cut out for me for the second moto. Those guys were, you know, those guys were really going fast up front, and you know, it's a shame for Sebastian. You know, I'll take second any day, but you know, you hate to see a rider go through that, and I don't exactly know what happened, but I guess that's just part of racing.
Do you think you can go out in the second moto and do a ride like you did that second moto at Budds Creek? That was the fastest you've gone this year.
Well, this is definitely the time I need to go back and think about the second moto and you know, go back to Budds Creek and really think about what I did to change the second moto, because I came out smoking, and I really hope I can do it this weekend. I need some work. You know, I can't let Ricky and those guys keep beating me like this.
Okay, we're back and get ready for the second moto.
Thanks a lot.
Heartbreak for number 13, Sebastian Tortelli, who took the lead away from Ricky Carmichael and then lost the lead on the final lap. The 250s now get some rest time, but it's wake-up time now for the 125s. Larry Ward working the gate. He has a chance for the overall after his second place finish in Moto number 1, but he's got to beat Travis Pastrana. 125s at the gate getting ready for their second moto. Mike Brown, number 100, you see him there on the Pro Circuit Kawasaki. All kinds of bad luck with a flat tire in the first moto. That helped Travis Pastrana lengthen his points lead for the championship. 32nd board is up. We're almost set to go. There's Pastrana and Larry Ward, number 10. Ward with a terrific performance behind Pastrana in that first moto. Gate drops, we're underway. Ward, a great start. Larry Ward gets the whole shot. Fonseca, Lamson, Curry, Schnell, Langston, and Ramsey all with good starts. Where's Pastrana? Both Brown and Pastrana didn't get off the gate well. Right now, Larry Ward is right where he wants to be. Would it be possible for Ward to get an overall victory here? He hasn't had one since 1992.
I thought he had it at Budds Creek at the last race. Then Brown snuck up at the very end of the race and stole it from him. But Travis is a long ways back. He's farther back than mid-pack. He's outside the top 20 right now.
Fonseca in second. There's Steve Lamson, number 6. Lammy's missed several rounds with a rib injury. And if you saw that turn 2 crash at Hangtown, you'd be surprised he's back on the track already.
Good to see him back up there, and the start makes so much difference. He's the kind of rider, and he's got the kind of power under him where he can stay up there and run with these guys. If he can see what the leaders are doing, he should be able to match their pace.
Ward, the leader, has 3 motocross 125 wins. Lammy's got 21 and 2 championships.
See him aim over to the inside and just chop off 10, 15 feet of racetrack right there to try to hang with the 4-stroke of Fonseca.
That red Honda coming down the hill, just making the turn there. Number 34 is Paul Curry of Plano Honda. He's trying to get up into the mix. But it's Larry Ward dominating out in front. He's starting to pull a pretty good lead. Davey Coombs is with Doug Stone, his mechanic. Davey?
Doug, you guys had a great start in the first moto, but wow, this one even better for Larry.
He pulled a great hole shot there, and he's setting a hot pace right now. He's pulling out ahead of everybody else, and I just hope he can keep it up like this the rest of the race.
Pastrana got a terrible start. That's the guy you got to worry about the overall. Are you going to tell Larry where he's at?
Nah, he doesn't really want to know too much about what's behind him, so just going to keep him going forward. That's all he wants to do. Thanks a lot.
I want to show you the start again. Now look at how close these guys' elbows are. Langston and Pastrana, not much room there. And watch what the reaction time. A lot quicker by Langston. He gets an elbow in front of Travis, and I don't care if Travis is riding a 500, he can't use the power there.
Great shot of the start as we check out Ernesto Fonseca, the Costa Rican, number 25. On that 4-stroke Yamaha, Fonseca in second place. Of course, the silly season is underway, and he's got deals from Honda, Suzuki, and Mazda Yamaha, it's rumored. Where do you think he'll go as we take a look at the Suzuki interval? Larry Ward with a 4-second lead over Fonseca.
Well, I don't know. He's got plenty of offers. That's a good thing. And since he's the last real hot commodity, other than possibly Villeman, who I'm not sure if he's signed yet, he can afford to take his time. And maybe the price will go up.
Number 6, Steve Lamson, the Husqvarna effort. Well, they've come a long way this year.
You know, I've talked about KTM making a return to motocross and supercross too with a powerful blow. Langston winning the first 2 races, winning some supercrosses, and Husky's doing the same thing. I thought when KTM, and especially Husky, when they started to get overtaken by the Japanese companies, I thought that was it. But they've made a real comeback here, and Lampson's the one doing all the testing. Obviously, they got horsepower. He wouldn't be in the position he's in.
Much to the credit of Araldo Faraci, of Fast by Faraci. He was in road racing so long, and tries this motocross scene. It's very difficult just to step right in and get a good program going, but he's well on his way.
Looks pretty good to me. They've already won a Supercross this year. Preston taking advantage of the other European manufacturer that had that thing wrapped up. Langston on the KTM threw it away, and Huskies got a win their first try.
Lammy working to try to get to Fonseca, who's in second place right now. Of the 21 125 wins for Steve Lamson, 2 of them were right here on this track.
Geez, with that many wins, what track didn't he win at? He's got some great experience. Look at that. Cuts off another little bit of racetrack. He's just been around so long, he knows all the little tricks. And he's been able to hang pretty good here with Fonseca. Ward's getting away, and I'll tell you what, Ward is just having an unbelievable day. I just couldn't believe the position he was in last week, and here he is again with a much better chance to win the overall because he was just as fast as Pastrana on the first moto. No reason Pastrana should pass him here.
I got the answer to your question.
Which one? All right, I got a lot of questions.
Lamson, on this year's schedule anyway, the only 2 tracks that he hasn't won on, Glen Helen and Mount Morris.
Huh.
But he's doubled up on several others.
Yeah, I would imagine. He's got pressure now, though.
Langston is right behind Steve Lamson. Langston to the inside. This is an incredible story, number 111. He still has the lack of strength from that dislocated shoulder. Langston moves into third.
Well, you've got 2 European manufacturers dicing it pretty close to the front, KTM and Husky. And I'm really impressed. You know, these guys have obviously done a lot of testing. You just don't hop into the highest level of off-road racing and really hand it to the Japanese the way these guys have, but they are really having some success now.
The biggest impression is being made by Larry Ward, our leader. Travis Pastrana not even in the top 10. It's called Red Bud Track and Trail in Buchanan, Michigan. It is a real test of strength and endurance, especially when you get into the middle of the second moto. We're in the second moto for the 125s after Travis Pastrana took the honors in the first, but Travis is having a hard time getting to the top 10 in this one. Langston is on the move, number 111. You see him there, starting to draw up close to second place in Ernesto Fonseca. Langston to the inside, makes the pass. Fonseca almost went over the berm.
A little bit of contact there at the end, but at that point, Fonseca already knew that Langston was there, so that wasn't really a dirty move. Langston just gave him an open invitation. He's got a little bit of outside-itis. And, you know, I wouldn't pick on him if I didn't see it so often, but he left the door wide open. Look at the lead Langston's still already put on him. Ride easy. I don't know. How do you do that?
I'm just almost speechless about this guy. I mean, when I saw him at Budds Creek, after that separated shoulder, I sat down and talked with him. He thought, well, maybe I better have surgery, get it done quickly, so I can rehab and get back into the conditioning again. But it's obvious that he's made a decision to try to salvage the rest of this season and not have the surgery. Is this race a big test?
I have a feeling that that's the vibe I get, and I haven't talked with him directly, but it seems like they're going to take this day as a test, see how it feels. And judging by what I'm seeing so far, I think he's going to go ahead and finish off the season. If he hadn't won the first 4 motos of the series, I don't think there'd be a decision. He'd be on the operating table right now. But that's just too big of a carrot out there dangling in front of him, and he knows that if there's a chance that Travis may have a problem, he needs to put himself in position. Now look at this. Fonseca is as wide as he can go. At least go there in the middle and kind of discourage Langston from just being able to go right in there and take the inside away. Good move by Langston to get close enough and to be able to hold that inside. Most of the guys are drifting up high the way Fonseca was, but he should have covered that inside. He knew Langston was close.
Here's Mike Brown. Who do you think has the better chance against Travis Pastrana for the championship? Brown or Langston?
Well, if Langston can get up in this moto and finish it strong, then that'll give me a sense that his shoulder is going to be okay. Then he gets another weekend off after this race to have a little bit more healing time. So he's fortunate that he was injured at this point in the season to have this extra time to heal. And I'd have to give the nod to Langston, only because I've seen how fast he is. Whenever he's out there, he's solid. And he's going this fast right now with an injury. So Brown is fast, we all know that, but he's a little bit more inconsistent. When he doesn't win, he's way back in the pack, and Langston doesn't have that trouble.
Well, he might be lucky, too. You have an occasional break every now and then in the motocross season, unlike the supercross season, where you have only one break in 16 rounds. Right now, we've got some good competition forming in this second moto. Fonseca, number 25. Lampson, number 6. And then Mike Brown, number 100 on the Pro Circuit Kawasaki. Brown certainly is hungry after a 23rd on that flat tire in the first moto. He didn't score a point. Here comes Brownie. Right up against Steve Lampson's back tire. And Brown makes a good quick pass of Steve Lampson. That surprised me right there.
That was his good planning, though. He knew that if he got around the outside of that corner, it put him on the inside up into the next one. And, you know, Brown's got some extra motivation after scoring no points in the first moto. He knows that he's the hottest rider right now. He's won 3 of the last 4 motos, and the one he didn't win, he crashed in the first turn, charged all the way up through the pack to 9th. So the guy can come through the pack, and he can go off the front, too.
No worse than second place in 4 of the last 5 races. But the problem being that one race at Hangtown, he didn't score a point. 38th place in both motos out of 40 riders.
Look at he's just pushing Fonseca through that berm.
Brown just all over Ernesto Fonseca. Brownie to the inside. The 4-stroke to the outside. Mike Brown looking for any occasion, and he collides with Fonseca. Looked like he almost T-boned him coming down that hill in the corner.
Well, it was right behind that tree, so it's hard to tell exactly if that was an on-purpose, intentional T-bone, but Fonseca went all the way wide. I talked about that a moment ago. He keeps going wide. He knew Brown was there. He invited him to the inside, but I think Brown may have got in there a little hotter than, I'll tell you, if I was Fonseca right now, I'd be fuming. I might have just cut he's looking back, going, oh, is he going to get me back?
Yeah. So Brown in 3rd, and Lampson moves into 4th in front of Fonseca. Ernie was able to keep that 4-stroke going, though.
Watch this, down the inside. Yeah, Brown just went right into him. He aimed at him. You know, sometimes you get in there, it's a little bit of an accident, but I don't see any effort on Brown's part to lay it over. Like, excuse me, I didn't mean to get in there that hot. He doesn't even care.
We leave you with something to think about. The Suzuki trivia question. What year did Hanna, O'Mara, Holland, Kehoe, and Schmidt all ride for Team Suzuki? The answer when we get back. Here's the answer to our Suzuki trivia question. What year did Bob Hanna, Johnny O'Mara, George Holland, Eric Kehoe, and Donnie Schmidt all ride for Team Suzuki? 1987. Now for a closer look at that 87 Suzuki team, here is this week's Suzuki Flashback. Anchoring this team in the 250 class were Bob Hanna and Johnny O'Mara. These 2 riders brought their championship experience to the team, and with 8 motocross and supercross titles between them, they were the perfect mentors for 3 up-and-coming riders in the 125 class. Opening the season with back-to-back wins at Gainesville and Sacramento, as well as a win at Binghamton, George Holland led all Suzuki riders with 3 wins, as well as a 2nd place in the overall standings. Winning races in Anderson, South Carolina, and Millville, Minnesota, Donnie Schmidt parlayed his 2 wins into a top 5 finish in the final point standings. And the consistent Eric Kehoe with 1 win and a slew of other top 5 finishes came in a solid 4th in the final standings. With 3 riders in the top 5, the 1987 Suzuki team laid the foundation for success that paid off in spades when Guy Cooper took home the 125 National Championship in 1990. We pick up the live action with Mike Brown, currently in 3rd place. He's extended his contract with Pro Circuit. Let's go to Davey.
How was this move between motos?
Real positive, actually. I mean, it wasn't nothing that he did, you know. It was a problem with the bike, so not his fault.
We've got about 4 laps to go. Do you think he can catch Warren Langston?
Yes.
A definitive answer.
No, that wasn't a yes, I hope so, or he better. That was a yes. My guy's faster.
You see in that field summary, it just changed, but in the top 5, Travis Pastrana, the last time we checked, he was in the top 10.
Brown has got an incredible pace going right now, a little faster than these guys out front. And Travis has the same pace, but unfortunately without a start, you don't get to see these guys.
Larry Ward, our leader. He's kept up a consistent pace. But right now, he's got a challenge.
And I'm anxious to see how motivated he is to win this moto. He knows probably even if Brown and Langston get around him, he's got a good shot at the overall. But I think it's a new Larry Ward. He came from behind in the first moto, which is different than what we've seen in the past from Larry, fading it just a little bit at the end against the McGraths, guys like that indoors. And here we're seeing that. He's out front getting pressure. I'm just wanting to see if this is in fact a new Larry Ward that's willing to fight for the win.
I always had the feeling that Larry was a little underrated as an outdoor rider.
Well, he's proven that. Langston's probably the best outdoor rider going right now. So is Brown. And they're right there with him.
Grant Langston wanting to put more pressure on Larry as this second moto, the 125, starts winding down. It was Ward taking a second place behind Pastrana, in case you just tuned in the first moto. That sets up a real good possibility for Larry Ward here to win the overall.
I think his best bet, and for Doug Stone to signal Larry, just race. Go for the win. Aim high and you'll land pretty close, hopefully, or steal the win and the overall. You can't afford to just have Travis pick up a couple of positions right at the end. Remember Carmichael in the 250 class at the last round of Budds Creek. He got the overall win on the last lap.
There's Pastrana. He's got a battle for fourth already. That's Lamson right in front of him.
And Lamson can feel this too. I mean, about a lap and a half ago, Lamson had no idea Travis was even close. Now look at this.
Here comes Pastrana. Does he cut inside? He went to the outside on that corner.
Well, as long as he got over the double jump, that's all that mattered. He let Lamson commit, and he just steered around him, made sure he got over the double for the easy pass.
The importance here, if Travis Pastrana goes into third, Larry Ward's going to have to win the race to win the overall. You get 25 points for winning a moto, 22 for second, and 20 for third. But if Pastrana gets the third place here, that would give him 45 points, and it would push Ward back to 44. Larry would have to win it if that's the case. Welcome back as time is running out here at Red Bud Track and Trail in the second moto of the 125s. Larry Ward, number 10, has led the entire race. He's got a challenge coming up, though, because not far away is Grant Langston. And then you got the hard-charging Travis Pastrana, who's trying to get into that third spot. Let's see if we can get some insight from Davey, who's with Grant's mechanic.
Are you surprised that he's attacking for the lead like this?
Not really. After the first moto, he went back and I could see he wasn't happy with the way things turned out. Obviously, you know, he's not 100%, but it's his nature to win, and he'll do whatever it takes to win. So he's just giving it 120% right now.
Even though Ward has led this entire race, it's far from over, because both Langston and Brown still have a shot at it.
There's just a couple of places out on the racetrack where Larry's losing some time. Everywhere else, he's holding his own, but what's really killing him is the double at the bottom of the ski jump. He didn't do it this last lap. Langston did, and he's on him.
And this is the final lap. If Langston's going to make a move, it better be quick.
Well, after the way the day's gone so far, geez, nothing's solid, nothing's safe.
Larry Ward, Langston. It's coming down to those two. Langston narrows the gap coming down the hill. Ward goes wide.
You can hear Larry just wide open.
Could this be the first YZ250 win of the year in motocross?
And could this be the fastest lap of the race?
Will we have the fourth winner in 6 races this year in 125 action? The lapper gets out of the way wisely. Larry Ward cannot afford a mistake. Langston is really on the move. Ward trying to keep his speed up. Only a few turns left before the checkered flag. Both riders double. Can Ward hold him off? Oh, to the inside. Langston makes the move. No touch. Langston has taken the lead with 2 turns to go. Grant Langston, an incredible move. There's the checkered flag. Langston wins his 5th moto of the year. Larry Ward, he will get the overall. Brownie just coming over the finish line jump will take 3rd. That pushes Travis Pastrana to 4th, giving the overall to Larry Ward. Langston, that dislocated shoulder, a separated shoulder, he could be in pain, or he's probably just bushed from that battle.
And there it is again for the win for the moto. Larry Ward still gets the overall, but he left the door a little bit too wide open right there. Langston has been using that line all day to make his move.
Langston wins the battle, but Ward wins the war. He's now won 125 motocrosses in the 80s, 90s, and 2000. Let's go to Davey.
Larry, congratulations. There's a place in the record book for you now. No rider has ever won a national 12 years after they won their first one.
Yeah, it feels so good. I wanted to win that moto so bad, but Grant rode really good. I thought I had him. My Moto Triple X YZ250F Yoshimura bike's running awesome. I got the greatest start ever, and I thought I had him covered. He caught me, but I held tough. And ever since Mike Brown ran me down 2 weeks ago, I said that can't happen again. And I saw Mike come, and I said, well, maybe it will. But I dug deep, and I wanted the overall, and you know, the overall is most important.
You know, you won before as a factory rider, but how satisfying is it to win as a true privateer for Moto Triple X?
It feels so good. I mean, 2-2 last weekend for second was really good, but a little disappointing. But 2-2 for an overall win. You know, these second places are going to pay off sooner or later. Somebody's going to crash or something, but I'm really happy with the overall. It's also, I believe, the first ride to ever win a national in 3 different decades. So I took Supercross off, and I feel good. I'm ready to ride, and I'm enjoying being out here a lot.
Congratulations, Larry. It's very good to have you out here.
Thank you. Thanks.
A very proud Larry Ward, he should be. It's the first YZ250F American Motocross victory. Pastrana 2nd and Langston 3rd. Davies with a very, very tired Grant Langston.
Grant, for a guy with a broken shoulder, that was an absolutely unbelievable ride.
Yeah, you know, I'm very happy. I haven't ridden for like a month, and that first moto I was a little bit rusty, and I got arm pump and I faded pretty bad, and I only got a 5th, which you know, wasn't too bad after, you know, such a long layoff. And then that second moto, you know, I just felt a little bit better. I had a bit of a better rhythm going, and I hung in there, and you know, I had a little secret line down the bottom there, which I seemed to pass everyone, and I just saved it for the last lap, and you know, happy to have won. And you know, I was real tired and sore towards the end, but you know, thank goodness it's over.
It's a fantastic ride. Congratulations.
Thanks, David. Thanks so much.
Lots of movement in the Suzuki point standings right now. Pastrana still leads, of course, extending it to 44 points. Grant Langston moves from 3rd to 2nd. Mike Brown taking the 3rd spot, but Larry Ward moving from 5th to 4th. We just saw last lap excitement of the 125s, matching this last lap first moto drama of the 250s. Their second moto coming up. It's been a dramatic afternoon here at Buchanan, Michigan, a Red Bud track and trail. 125's exciting racing, but that first moto for the 250s, number 13, Sebastian Tortelli, led until right near the finish line. We've got conflicting reports that it was fuel-related or electronic. Honda is not saying. Stefan Roncada waiting at the gate after his best moto finish on a 250 with his 3rd place in that first moto. Ezra Lusk of Team Honda, despite his 9th place finish in that first moto, it appears that after a year of nagging injuries, he's back to 100% physically. Ricky Carmichael, though, the benefactor of racing luck in that first moto. Ricky, should he win the overall here this afternoon, would tie the great legendary Bob Hanna in number of national motocross victories with 37. I think the interesting point here is Jeff Ward, with whom Ricky's tied with now in 2nd, got all of his wins on a Kawasaki, as Carmichael has as well. 32nd board is up. Getting set for our second moto. That's Carmichael. Off and running. Great start by John Dowd. Dowd will get credit for the whole shot. Ron Carter, Wyndham, Hughes, and Ricky Carmichael, they're all there. And from the looks of things, it's a good thing they're out in front. Looking back in the corner. Tortelli's mixed up in that mess. John Dowd, once again, gets the whole shot. Second one in a row. Ron Carter's hounding him. There's number 13. Tortelli finally getting going after that very disappointing first moto. Another bad break.
Can you imagine what's going through his mind now? There's LaRocco.
LaRocco down. LaRocco got hit by a bike as well.
Looked like he was holding his backside a little bit. Raynard also was collected in that. He's already gone, but man, LaRocco is just having a really tough time of it outdoors. Nothing like the day that Tortelli's had. Can you imagine what's going through Tortelli's? I'm wondering if Tortelli, had he won that first moto, had a different place, a choice to the gate, may have been able to escape that mess. It's just an unfortunate. These guys are working so hard, Wyndham and Tortelli, to try to keep Carmichael from getting a big points lead, and you know, they have the speed a lot of times, but not the luck.
Ron Carter to the inside, a new leader on the first lap. Dowdy trying to come back in at 5:20. Ron Carter, who did such a good job winning the 125 race here last year, is having his best day on a 250.
After a third in the first moto, he wasn't on the pace with Tortelli and his teammate Carmichael, but Tortelli's out of the picture now, so this could be a great day for Kawasaki. They could sweep this thing.
It's been a learning process for number 21, Ron Carter, this year, his first full year on the 250. Many, including myself, kind of felt that he made the jump a little bit too soon from 125s after winning a 125 Supercross championship and just missing out on the 125 National Championship. Pastrana winning it in the last race last year. A good battle going on with a block of 4 riders in back of our leader.
Wyndham finally gets around Rhino. Rhino made him earn it. So now Wyndham is right there with Carmichael. So whatever Carmichael does, Wyndham said between motos he needed to figure out what it was going to take to hang with him. Now he's got a great opportunity.
Here's Dowd and Carmichael going bar to bar at times in a battle for second place. Ricky Carmichael takes the outside this time. Dowd gets the line away from him.
It must be so frustrating to ride against those bikes. Carmichael getting everything out of that 250, and at times still not enough.
Carmichael taking the inside for second place against Dowdy. So it's Ron Carter at first, Carmichael in second. Let's go to Davey down in the mechanics area.
Look at Sebastian Tortelli's bad day gone worse. Tortelli was caught up in a second turn pileup after a pretty decent start. You see him back there diced out with some of the privateers. He's not even in the top 30 at the end of one lap.
Boy, a tough situation for Sebastian Tortelli, who in the past has lost the points lead because of injuries. Here's Wyndham squaring it off in a battle with Dowd. Wyndham moves ahead of Dowd now, so it's Ron Carter, Carmichael, and Wyndham.
Once again, Wyndham is matching the pace of Carmichael so far. He's following up through the pack. So far, he has made the adjustment he said he needed to make.
Dowd's having trouble now holding on to fourth as Ryan Hughes is on his tail. Let's go down to Davey once again.
And check this out, even further back than Tortelli is number 5, Mike LaRocco. He's riding standing up like he is got maybe an injury, maybe a bike problem. LaRocco just cruising.
LaRocco tough as nails, though. He'll try to ride through it. Here's a battle between Lusk and Hughes gets brushed off by the tree. Keeps the 4-stroke running, though. So Hughes losing 5th place to Ezra Lusk. One of Ezra's best motos of the year.
Ryan's still in contact with those guys. He had made the block pass on Dowd. Dowd got him back, but the tree got in the way.
It's 2 Kawasaki's out in front. Ron Carter and Ricky Carmichael with Wyndham in third. We'll be right back. The final 250 moto. And Ron Carter having problems. There's Ricky Carmichael in the battle for first. Makes it easy for Ricky. Well, Ricky has had some good luck on this afternoon. Ron Cotta trying to keep pace now with his teammate. Look at Windham, though. Kevin Windham to the inside on the Suzuki. Ron Cotta looks over at him. Ricky tries to pull a lead as Windham is gunning for that second place.
Well, this ought to be interesting. Here's another look at what happened. Ron Cotta gets into that corner a little bit hot, gets out there in that powder, tries to cut back to the inside. He knows Ricky's coming. But Ricky just puts himself in the right place at the right time and just gasses it right in there for an easy pass. Now, so far, everything Ricky's been able to do, Kevin's been able to do. But now he's got a teammate back there, and I think Ron Cotta's going to make it tough on Kevin.
Windham, though, trying to make the move right now, goes to the inside. Kevin Windham comes out with second place. Ron Cotta back to third.
So this second moto is looking a lot like Budds Creek did for Kevin Windham, only he's got Carmichael up there.
Let's check in with Davies with Chad Watts.
Chad, this looks just like the first moto, but instead of number 13, it's number 14 behind you.
Yeah, if it ain't one of those guys, it's the other. First of all, I feel bad for Tortelli, man, that happened to him. But it's a break for us, but it's a bad deal for him. But Kevin's riding really good right now, and Ricky's just got to race the track and don't worry about him and see what the outcome will be.
Do you think Ricky feels more comfortable with Windham behind him than he would with Tortelli?
Yeah, because past years here, Tortelli has always been on fire. And Ricky, he kind of knows what Kevin does, but you can never know when Kevin can pull a moto out.
Chad showing some great sportsmanship there as they're gunning for that title, David.
Yeah, you know, they don't have to say that, but they really feel it. I mean, that's just a deposit of good karma. They know that that could happen to them somewhere down the stretch, and they can feel for him.
Ezra Lusk, all kinds of rumors about him in the offseason, where he's going to go next year.
Well, one of them is that he just may trade places with Carmichael. And that bike of Carmichael's has been pretty good over the years. Look at the wins he's racked up, all on a Kawasaki. Now Ezra Lusk's going to be on that bike if things go the way they sound.
Kevin Windham didn't stop at second place right now. He's starting to pick up the pace and put the heat on Ricky Carmichael. Oh, this is a great ride for Kevin Windham.
Yeah, he's got a good outside line.
Whips around that outside berm, trying to catch up with Ricky, and Windham does so.
That has been working for him. Every time we go to the leaders, they have a tough time coming out of the inside, still clearing that double. Kevin's been going wide. Completely different line of Ricky, so didn't have to worry about Ricky being in the way, and he still can clear that double. That was an easy move.
Slipping and sliding. Windham stays in the middle of the track. Now on that off camber. Boy, that's difficult.
Well, let's take a look at the way these guys are going off the ski jump. Look at Ricky's foot, almost touching the ground. That's a straightaway. But he's just trying to keep that bike low, riding as hard as he can go to hold Kevin off, and it's still not enough. So he's got to be just as frazzled here as he was with Tortelli in the first moto. Ricky just cannot get this track dialed in.
Kevin able to take that little double, and Ricky couldn't do it at that time.
Look at Kevin just sticking to that inside. And it's not like he's taking the inside to protect anything. He's going fast there.
Windham and Carmichael out in front.
You know, I have a feeling Carmichael's just going, all right, if I keep the pressure on Kevin, he'll fade. I don't think so. Kevin is a lot stronger this year. I talked to him a little bit at Mount Morris, and he put in a pretty strong showing there. He's strong. I've done the Ironman 3 times, and that guy's got bigger arms than I do, so I don't think he's going to get tired here.
If Kevin can hold Ricky off, that would mean his 5th career motocross victory. With a second place in the opening moto, Kevin Windham needs the first place here to take the overall. Windham, Carmichael, Ron Cotta, Hughes, and Lusk on our field summary.
Kevin diving that inside down there. You saw the 125 class, the guys that went wide, anytime there was somebody behind them, they would lose the position right there. So Kevin is doing a good job to take the best line without slowing himself down.
David, the wind is really picking up. Is this going to affect the riders?
It only affects them, I think, right there. They're going right into a headwind. You see that banner getting pushed. Where it really affects them is it's coming from their right as they go off that big ski jump as they're approaching it now. That may be why they're laying the bike over so far in the air to correct for the wind.
All right, a battle for the lead. It's going to be a great finish, I have a feeling. Here's the Honda top 10. Wyndham, Carmichael, and Roncada, the top 3. Welcome back to Redbud Track and Trail, where Kevin Wyndham and Ricky Carmichael are battling it out for first. Here's Ezra Lusk currently in 5th, matched with that 9th in the first moto. This could be his best motocross of the season. Let's check out this week's Honda profile. With the release of Jurassic Park 3 later this month on July 18th, Team Honda's Greg Wright talks about what the fans are witnessing this weekend at Redbud.
Well, Honda's sponsored by Universal Studios, obviously, for 2001 and 2002, multi-year partnership. And part of that sponsorship is that Universal Studios will take over as primary sponsorship for 4 races in the 2 years. This weekend, we're headlining Ezra Lusk with Jurassic Park 3 in 3rd installment from Universal Studios.
So far it's been awesome. You know, when we started this relationship in Universal Studios, it's been great, and they've just been throwing things our way. Hopefully it's just going to help build the sport and help build up Honda. And you know, we got the opening now of JP3, and Sebastian did the same thing with the Mummy return, so we're hoping it's going to turn out awesome.
Over his racing career, Ezra Lusk has worn a lot of different riding gear. So what does he think about the bike and the gear this weekend?
Different, that's for sure. You know, it's not really my color, but the dinosaur there hopefully is going to be preying on the other guys all weekend, and I'm hoping to have a really good finish. 2 good motos.
What had to be done to outfit the bike and rider with new graphics and gear?
The graphic design was a collaboration between American Honda and Universal Studios, and then our sponsor, Throttle Jockey, actually built the graphics, and then Ezra, who's sponsored by Fox Racing, Fox actually designed the JP3 logos on Ezra, and that's what you see this weekend.
So what can the public expect from Team Honda and Universal Studios on future projects?
We're not quite sure yet. They're kind of keeping that under tight wraps right now, but I can tell you, judging by how big Jurassic Park 3 is this year, you can expect to see some pretty big box office smashes for next year.
Right now we pick up the action as Ricky Carmichael tried to catch up with Kevin Wyndham. Wyndham's done well staying out in front of the points leader so far. Let's check things out with Davey Coombs, who's in the mechanics area. Davey, what do you have?
Roger, you must be pleasantly surprised at the fight that your rider Kevin Wyndham is showing right now.
Yeah, you know, I trust that Kevin is slowly on his way to, you know, to winning. He won the last heat in Butts Creek, and he has the speed to win. He just has to believe in himself and keep working. I think it's gonna happen.
Having finished second in the first moto, this one's for the overall win.
Yeah, if he can stay here, then it will be nice. It will be his first win of the year for Kevin on the Suzuki. It would be great.
Kevin's had a pretty good year. His worst overall was a 5th at Southwick. He's had 2 podiums, David.
He's been consistent. He just needs more moto wins, and he needs to be able to. This would be huge. If he can hold Ricky off right here, man, what a confidence builder. You know, like Tortelli dinged Ricky's confidence a little bit in the first moto, and if Kevin can do it here, not only would he ruin Ricky just a little bit, but it would just give him such a lift. And then they get a week off after this. He can just kind of savor that feeling for a couple weeks before they head into Unadilla, New York.
What's that week off in the middle of a season like this worth to you?
Well, if he loses this, it's torture. But if he can win it, man, it's a great feeling. And all your practicing and all your training, you want to get up. You set the alarm. You can't wait till tomorrow to get up and train some more, because what you've been doing is obviously paying off.
Kevin Wyndham, our leader. Ricky Carmichael, unable to really get close enough to make a move on him right now.
Ricky is so close, though. Trust me, for Kevin, I've been in that position, and it feels like Ricky's a lot closer than he looks.
What's at stake is not just increasing a points lead for RC, but tying motocross history, as you see here. Bob Hanna with 37 National Motocross AMA victories.
Well, there's a line right there, Art, that Kevin better watch out for the next lap. Ricky coming across the inside. That's how he took the lead from his teammate Roncada. And he's following Kevin to the outside there. Obviously better. Look, he's going to go for the double. Makes it no problem. So check that out. Learning something from Wyndham for a change. Now, normally Ricky doesn't care much about his competition. He feels like he's the man, and he's got the record to prove it. There's even an ad on the back of the latest Racer X It shows an empty starting gate. It says how Ricky sees his competition. He doesn't see anybody as competition, but he's got some now.
I'm not used to seeing him following the same line quite as much either. Here comes Ricky, though. Look out. He gets the inside edge on Kevin Windham. They don't even rub. Ricky Carmichael, our new leader.
That looked like a gift to me. Kevin looked over and saw him. Of course, Ricky came in there hot. It looked like Kevin just gave it to him. Maybe he doesn't want to be in the lead here. That's a risky strategy. I don't know that I'd want to have the chore of passing Ricky back before the end of this race, but obviously Kevin feels comfortable.
Kevin must feel very confident, David, that can happen. Watch again.
Hey, he looks over there. I mean, he should have just cut down the middle, right here. Cut off the line. He had plenty of time. He just waits. Ricky even pauses, like, what? All right, I'll take it.
So Ricky Carmichael, our new leader, with Kevin Windham back in second place. And let's check in once again with Davey Coombs. He's down there where all the action is. Davey?
Well, once again, Chad, you guys are back out front, but man, Windham is riding one incredible race.
Yeah, he's having a really good moto, and he's doing awesome lap times too. I mean, really good, even better, faster than the first moto. So, and it's even rougher. It should be slower, but they're carrying a rough pace right now, and I don't know, it's going to be pretty interesting to the end.
Tying Bob Hanna's records at stake for Ricky Carmichael, plus a collection of points as he leads the 250s. Windham wants to take it away from him right now. We'll be right back to Redbud Track and Trail in a moment. Here at Redbud Track and Trail, Ricky Carmichael got the win in the first moto handed to him when Sebastian Tortelli's bike just failed right before the finish line. But Ricky Carmichael has had to work for this one. He had to battle Kevin Windham for the lead back and forth, and now starting to stretch it out.
Yeah, he's stretching it out a little bit. And, you know, Howard, I kind of question Kevin letting him by as easily as he did. Man, I would have fought for that a little bit more if I were Kevin. That was for the overall, and now, you know, if you give Ricky what he thinks he's going to get, he's just out there going, see, I told you so, and gets right back into his routine. You know, if you force Ricky to have to get creative and have to run into you and get into a different kind of fight, maybe that would throw him off a little bit.
Ricky, after winning the 250 Supercross title, had trouble winning the first motos in the first three races. He was 8-1 in the first race, 5-1, and then 13-1 in the third round action. But then he turned it around with a sweep at Southwick, a 1-4, good enough for the win at Budds Creek. And he's real close to sweeping here at Redbud.
What a day here at Redbud. You know, they did a great job with the track. They got lucky with the weather. The fans aren't sweating to death like they usually are. History made in the 125 class and here again in the 250 class.
As we saw in the first moto, though, David, anything can happen until that checkered flag is passed.
I think he can coast it in from here.
He can see it waving. Carmichael takes two. Ricky Carmichael, what happened to Kevin Windham? I don't know, because he still hasn't crossed the finish line. Oh, there could be the reason. Vivo Forte, our spotter extraordinaire, said there might be something wrong with the chain in back, David.
Yeah, there's no chain on the sprocket.
The third last lap happening in 4 motos today at Redbud. Anyway, Windham's chain problem moved Ryan Hughes into second place for his best finish of the year. Ezra Lusk in third for his best finish of the year. Let's go to Davey.
Well, Ricky, it wasn't pretty, but it is a record. That's your 37th career win. You've tied Bob Hanna on the all-time list.
Feels good, you know. Kevin was riding good that moto, and he got by me, and I kind of followed him and pressured him, and was able to get back by him and started to get a little lead there and tried to ride my own race. This isn't one of my best tracks, and I'm happy to get out of here on top this weekend.
The second time this week, or rather the second time today, the guy you were racing with didn't make it around the last lap.
I don't know what's happening. There's some bad luck going on today, and you know, I'm just worried about myself, trying to do all I can do to win and put my Kawasaki up front.
Both last lap casualties placed 13th. Ryan Hughes, though, takes second place. Stefan Roncada, his first 250 podium. Ezra Lusk, his best of the season in 4th overall. Let's go back to Davey.
Ryan, I think that was the finish that the Team USA boss has been waiting for. Congratulations, second place.
Yeah, you know, I've struggled a little bit this year. You know, it's a development bike, and we've only been 6 races into the season, and everybody else, you know, Yamaha and KTM have 4 years, so I think Honda is coming along quite quick. And you know, I struggled the last 2 races. I got knocked out at Southwick, and last weekend I wasn't there, and I stayed back at Jeff Stanton's house, and we've been training real hard, always having someone to push after, and I came here with a little different attitude, and I wanted to show what I was worth, and you know, show the people that are voting for me for the donations that I can do it.
Davey was referring to the motocross donations. Ryan Hughes, Ricky Carmichael, Travis Pastrana to represent the United States on the Suzuki points board. Ricky Carmichael picks up 20 points in his quest for his 2nd consecutive championship. Davey?
Sebastian, you had the Moto 1. What happened?
You know, we got a mechanical problem on the bike, and it's you know, things happen. You know, there's so much, you know, stuff on the bike, and the mechanic couldn't figure out what it was this time. So I'm gonna check it out and make sure, you know, that doesn't happen second moto, and that's what happened. I mean, second moto the bike ran fine and didn't got any problem, and you know, hopefully they're gonna open up the engine and see what's wrong with it.
We saw you trying to get the bike up over the finish line. How frustrating was that?
You know, I remember seeing picture of Ryan Hughes when he lost the championship 125, pushing the bike, crossing the finish line, and I thought to myself, man, that's a tough thing. And you know, when I was pushing that bike, I'm like, damn it, I know how that feels now, and I wish I would never had that feeling. And you know, it's like when you're into the race, you take, you know, whatever to make it. And if somebody had to cut my finger to make it and cross it, I'll give it away. You know, I just wanted to get that point, and you know, that was bad luck definitely this time.
The face of agony as he watches a moto win go by the wayside, but more importantly, quite possibly the championship. Larry Ward surprises the crowd, though, with his first 125 motocross win since 1992. And Ricky Carmichael takes a record-tying 37th National Motocross victory. A big day at Redbud Track and Trail in Buchanan, Michigan. Art Ekman for David Bailey and Davey Coombs, thanking you for being with us. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. For more information, log on to ESPN.com.